Facebook. And now we're going to go on Facebook Live. And for those of you on Facebook, welcome. This is Hot Topic Tuesday. And we are ready to go. This is on prescription drugs. So the objectives for today is to introduce, monitor, store, and lock campaign, a reflection of access in your home environment, safety tips to AOD, alcohol, other drugs, proof your home, especially with children and youth, and provide other prevention strategies for the home. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to think about this. You can either get a piece of paper and draw a little map, or think about where you store alcohol in your home, marijuana, if you have it, prescription drugs, and over-the-counter medications, and also tobacco. Just think about it, or either draw a picture, like a little map of where those things are located in your home, just to get a visual. Give you a few minutes to go ahead and do that. And that list is going to come in handy in just a moment. So we'll go ahead and move on. So prescription drugs, 64% of youth stated that it's easy to access prescription drugs in the home. And 43% of youth have misused prescription drugs. So it's important for us as adults, maybe parents, that we limit the access points and we store things responsibly so that it stays out of the hands of youth. Just kind of an overview, prescription drugs focus on opioids. Drug use is any scope of illegal use of drugs, legal use too, but most commonly referred to as illegal use. And drug misuse is the use of prescription or over-the-counter drugs or illegal drugs for the purpose other than those for which they're meant to be used. And drug abuse is the excessive and habitual use of prescription, over-the-counter, or illegal drugs. So with prescription drugs, there's a lot of related poison control calls because little ones are curious and sometimes they get into things that they shouldn't be. The top poison exposure is prescription or non-prescription pain relievers. The fourth top poison exposure are sedatives, hypnotics, antipsychotics, and antidepressants. And this was kind of alarming to me that there are 93% of the calls come from homes, from residential homes, and 44% of those calls are cases where children under 5 years old are involved. So just think about that for a moment when you're thinking about where your medications in your home are located. And the important thing to know about storing medication, as I said earlier, is that kids are curious and they want to do what you do. They might see you taking medication, so they might get curious. So it's important that you put all medicine up and away and out of sight. The thing that I want to highlight here with this slide is that every 9 minutes, a young child under the age of 6 goes to the emergency room because he or she got into medicine. And every hour, a young child is hospitalized. And every 12 days, a young child dies because of access to medications that they shouldn't have been in. Those are pretty alarming. So it's really important to know those things. When we think about prescription drugs, it's important to monitor and store prescription medications. If you have elderly people in your life, teach them how to put their medications, like this picture here, in a day-by-day case, so they know how to monitor their own medications. And with the excess medications, make sure that they put them up and away, especially if there's grandkids around. Make sure that they know that they're taking them responsibly and keep track of how many pills are in the prescription bottles or the pill packs. And you want to make sure that you store and lock your prescription drugs and over-the-counter drugs, maybe in locked cabinets. But the important thing too is that a lot of us do this because of ease. We leave the key in the lock because it's easier for us to access if the key's in the lock. But if we do that, then little hands can still get in there. So you want to make sure that you also lock the key away. I'm not lock the key away, put the key in a place away from where children can access it. And with alcohol, youth reported it's easy to get access to alcohol. 43% youth reported getting alcohol from their own home. So I want you to think about when you were young and think about where in your home alcohol was stored. And thinking back to your home now, is that still the way that you store alcohol in your own home? Some people may put alcohol on the countertops or in open cabinets, or maybe just in the fridge, like this refrigerator here. There's a lot of beer. They might be having a party or something like that. Just think about that as and about the people in your home, and know that you need to monitor it. Oh, sorry. You want to monitor your alcohol. Track the number of bottles of wine and liquor, and especially bottles and cans of beer in the fridge. Smell and taste the open bottles to see if it's been tampered with or watered down in any way. You can measure your alcohol. You can do this by getting a ruler and marking off the level of the alcohol that's left in the bottle, even putting a date on there if necessary. Measure the alcohol level with the ruler. And you want to make sure you store alcohol up high. And if it's down low, you want to lock it up. Store up high or lock down low. And there are locks that are available that you can put on the tops of wine bottles or different things. Also locks for cabinets to keep curious hands away. The one on the top left has actually a combination that you would need in order to open it. And the other ones need to be accessed with a key. Just to encourage safety in the home. Other types of alcohol in the home too are dangerous for kids. Rubbing alcohol, that's toxic, and especially for children, and causes dangerous poisoning. Even mouthwash can be dangerous if it's ingested, too much of it is ingested. And alcohol containing cosmetics and cleansers, you want to keep those out of sight and out of reach. We don't think about those kinds of things, but everything like that is not supposed to be ingested or put into the body. So just need to be careful and aware of where things are placed in your home. Take a look at this picture, and I want a brave volunteer to just chat with us about what do you see in this picture and what do you think is wrong. We could take a couple of people that want to go ahead and unmute themselves and tell us what they see. Any brave volunteers? Or you can type it in the chat if you're feeling shy.
You know, what I see wrong, Miss Tracy, is that even though, it's still a kid's pools, and
Yeah.
you might have babies that don't distinguish the difference. So what if a baby, goes into that, and just picks up, I don't know, maybe a beer out of there, without even any adult supervising it. So it's still wrong, because some of the kiddos don't even know how to read. So how would they distinguish the kiddie pool versus the adult pool?
Right. Kids can't read. The little ones especially can't read. And also putting the alcohol in a kid-friendly container. They see the pool as a place to play, so then they might be associating the alcohol or the drinks as, oh, this is something that's okay. It's in something that I play with, so that should be okay for me. So think about that. You know, we need to be responsible adults when we have family gatherings and things like that. Thank you, Gracie, for your input. So when you have gatherings, you want to make sure to keep the alcoholic beverages in areas away from youth access and have alcohol stations in clear view of responsible adults. You might even want to ask a few volunteers to monitor. And throughout the party, you want to make sure you empty out unfinished beer cans, wine glasses, and drink glasses before children can get to them. Because you know the alcohol in the bottle in the cups, they might be curious. Maybe it's a pretty color. They say, "Oh, that's pretty. I want to taste it. I want to see what that is." And then if you look at this picture up here, the picture on the right, the container with the balloons, those balloons are actually filled with alcohol. So just imagine if a baby who's teething got a hold of one of those little balloons there as he's crawling across the deck and he bites into one of those. Interesting. So you want to be careful and not do that. I mean, that might be okay to have it displayed like that at an adult party, but not at a family gathering. Now moving on to marijuana. 54% of youth perceive marijuana as being harmless. 43% of kids smoke at home, and 56% smoke with friends. Now, I just want to caution you that this survey represents 110 respondents who were not randomly sampled. So it's not a huge, but it's a good depiction. So with marijuana as well, you want to make sure you monitor it in your home. If you have it in your home, you want to carefully place it where children can't reach it or find it, especially edibles, cookies or brownies or candies, because those look just like your ordinary brownie or cookie or gummy bear. So you want to make sure that they're clearly labeled or up high away from where little hands can get to them. And monitor when and where you use, because as I said earlier, children watch what we do and they know all more than we know. You want to put marijuana and paraphernalia away after use. Don't leave things out for maybe a bong or a pipe or anything out of curiosity. Kids might get into that. And package your marijuana carefully before storing it. Even your pets can accidentally ingest marijuana. So if it's left on a tabletop or whatnot, a marijuana cookie or a marijuana brownie, one of your fur babies could get to it and it could cause a lot of damage. Animals are very much more sensitive to things that they eat. And like the other substances, you also want to make sure that you store and lock your marijuana away. There are different containers that you could get that are safe with the safety caps. The container on the left-hand side is actually a container that can be put in the refrigerator. That's locked. It has a combination locked, so edibles that need to be refrigerated can be put in that. You can also have different containers with locks on them, boxes and things like that. Here's some other kinds of locking devices. The one in the middle has it can only be opened by the person with the same thumbprint. And then there's combination ones as well, just to keep everyone safe. And for safe disposal, what you want to do is to not flush medications down the toilet, because that goes into the environment and it leaks into the soil. It could go into the water system. It could cause damage to the fish in the oceans, the plant life. And you don't want to throw any unused medications in the trash. Instead, what you want to do is you want to take your unused or expired medications to a permanent drop-off site. They have them in the pharmacy, CVS, Walgreens, all over the county. Also, you can participate in National Prescription Drug Take Back Days in October and in April. And actually, there is one happening at this Saturday, the 23rd, from 10 to 2 in a lot of the cities across LA County. So if you know of someone that may have a lot of medications left over, expired medications, or someone in their home passed away and they had a lot of leftover medications, you could drop them off at the RX Take Back Day or at any of the permanent drop-off sites in any of the pharmacies. You want to gather them and drop them off. This is a list of the county sites. On the left, all of the LA County sites. And then I've highlighted the ones in SPA 8 in the South Bay cities that are happening on Saturday as well. And some prevention at home takeaway messages. You want to keep AOD, alcohol, other drugs up and out of sight of children. Measure and monitor regularly. Store things in locked cabinets or rooms. And make sure you have conversations with your kids. Set ground rules. Talk to them about alcohol. Talk to them about the fact that alcohol is meant for adults 21 and up, marijuana as well. And set good ground rules with your kids about dangers of use, risks of use, and having regular talks with your kids, even when they're young, even in elementary school, so that they know what these things, what drugs and alcohol can do to their body if it's taken in excess or, when they're not supposed to be. And you want to share facts instead of scare tactics. It's always sharing facts, and you don't want to scare them. You want to just give them the facts. And if they ask questions, answer as best as you can. And if you don't know the answers, look it up together with them. Maybe you guys can go on a website and look things up if they have questions that you don't think you can answer, or find someone that you may know that may have a better sense of how to answer the questions. And with that went so fast. Wanted to see if you have any questions or comments or concerns at all at this time. Feel free to unmute yourself or type it in the chat. And while we're waiting for anyone to come up with the questions, what I want you to do right now in the chat box, I want you to write down one thing that you learned or a takeaway, something that you're going to do in terms of storage of alcohol, marijuana, or prescription drugs in your home. And then Tiffany, I can't see the chat box, so if people are chatting in the chat box, if you could share that with me.
Yes, I can do that. I'm writing down my thoughts too.
Okay, we'll give you guys just a few more minutes if anyone has any thoughts. No questions at this time?
No questions, but as everyone starts to write down their takeaway points, there's comments of, even though I don't have children, we do have visitors who have kids. So it kind of brings in the importance of prescription safety as well as safe storage. Store high or lock down low, which can also be made into a song or maybe a catchy phrase in terms of talking to your children. I'm not going to throw my expired over the counter. I'm not going to throw my expired over the counters in the regular trash anymore. Make it a point to lock up and move your prescription drugs when they visit. And overall, thank you for a wonderful presentation, Tracy. I want to ask, how can we educate friends and family on locking away their drugs, prescription drugs, or alcohol away? So how can we educate our family and peers?
Yeah, I think educating your family and peers is just have a conversation with them and let them know the risks of young ones, of it getting into the medications, telling them the risks of exposure, access, making sure that the environment is safe as well. Just having regular conversations, and also educate them about the prescription drug take back events, that these are there for people to bring their unused, unwanted medications with no questions asked at all. So I think just regular conversations, and just add it into the conversation. And if they have questions, answer them as best you can. I hope that that helped whoever had that question there.
Thank you, Tracy. Another takeaway point from our audience is make sure to differentiate alcohol containers from toys or kid-friendly objects.
Yeah, so important. You got to keep it neutral so that it's not enticing. And is that it?
That's all. Yes. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. And then with that, here is our contact information. I'm sure many of you have seen this before. My contact information is at the top. We also have a number of other community organizers within AADAP. Tiffany, who's here with me today with El Segundo. Marlon is with the Inglewood. Richard with Carson. Jessica is also with Gardena. Carol is with our tobacco control program. Jeannie is our program coordinator. And there you can also see our various Facebook accounts. And we can also be found on Instagram. Those are some of our Instagram handles right there. And with that, our presentation, I can't believe it went so fast. Unless anyone has any other questions. That was the quickest Hot Topic Tuesday ever.
I don't have a question, Miss Tracy, but
Yes,
I do
go
have
ahead.
a comment. It's so interesting, you know, because I can definitely relate about the one with the balloons. Because what they used to do is do challenges, you know, like who can open the balloon a lot faster. So you're so right. I mean, back then, you know, adults didn't think about it, you know, like what if like a baby that is teething, you know, just like rips up that balloon. So thank you for that. It is a way to bring awareness to those families, a lot of the families, of how one party can turn it to a tragic moment without even realizing it.
Yes, yeah, it's important just to, you know, the everyday little things that happen. If you notice things at parties, say something. Not that you're trying to, you know, cause trouble or anything like that, just to educate your friends and family, you know. You don't want to be the bad guy, but educate for safety reasons. Thank you, Gracie. With that, any other comments, questions, sharings? No? Okay, I will. I know we're all busy people getting ready for Red Ribbon Week and everything else. Have a great afternoon, everybody, and we will see you again. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, everyone.